In the past, he's worked with firms like Godrej, Whirlpool, Pepsi, Mobile to Win, Hindustan Times, and countless other firms. Now Mr. Ranganath has dedicated his life to fundraising and helping students and people who need funds to create brilliant campaigns. He starts them on Fuel a Dream. He's worked with countless number of schools, projects, and events that have made a large difference in society. And I'm sure he'll be speaking about it today. Everybody, introducing you to Mr. Ranganath.
Thank you. So thank you so much. And thanks, Ishan, for that. And also thanks to Alumnus Omnia for everything. So just to add to that, so today we're going to talk about crowdfunding. We're going to talk about how very important it is. We're also going to talk about how, it's a science and how it needs to be learned. And it's like a life skill. You need to learn it the right way. If you don't, you're obviously going to get it wrong. Before that, a very happy Independence Day to all of you all. And just a trivia question to set the ball rolling. Do any of you all know 15th August 1947, what day of the week was it? Was it a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday? Anyone? Okay, Google it and find out, because that's an interesting trivia.
I think it was a Friday.
Perfect. Who said that?
Me.
No, I know it's okay. I love the me. Okay, no, I couldn't see who had answered it. Okay, that's bang on. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. Because we have a very famous restaurant in Bangalore, which is almost about close to 70 years old, and that guy he closes every Friday, and people wonder why is he closed on a Friday. And that's because when Independence Day happened, he decided to close that day, and then it became a custom saying, okay, let's do it every Friday. So just some interesting trivia I thought we'll start with. So good. So my background, like, Ishan said, is I've spent about 30 years in the corporate world. I come from a pretty middle class family, worked with some of the biggest companies around the world. For those of you all who are from Bombay, I launched the Hindustan Times newspaper there long back as their CEO. And about 4 years back, I realized I was making too much of money. I had too many BMWs, too many villas, too many penthouses, and a lot of pleasure, but very little happiness. And I didn't enjoy that. And at one point of time, I decided that I wanted to help people and didn't want to really make too much money. That was really not the objective in life. And I discovered crowdfunding because I wanted to help 1 million people. And the only way I realized I could do it is through crowdfunding. So about 4.5 years back, I moved to Bangalore and started Fuel a Dream. What I also did, yeah, Manath, you have a question?
Are you a billionaire?
Not really. Manath, did we? Yes, you've done a campaign with us. You're with Sri Ram School?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did a campaign with Fuel a Dream. See, I remember names.
I don't think I did one. I'm in 9th grade.
No, you did one. You're Manath Jain, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you did one. Or you registered for one and didn't do it because I think you were there and Abhinav was there. I think so. Anyway, we've done stuff with y'all, but maybe. Okay. Maybe we did. Okay. So anyway, so where was I? The billionaire part confused me. Okay. So back to where I was. So started crowdfunding with Fuel a Dream about 4.5 years back. And what we essentially do on the platform is two things. We help those, who obviously don't have, too much of money. We also help those who have a lot of ideas, who want to create business models, they want to create products, they want to create apps, they want to take part in competitions, they want to do fundraising, they want to do robotic stuff. So we work with all of them. And what we have noticed, especially with students, is that 8 out of 10 of y'all, if you need, for example, 60,000 rupees, and you have an idea, 80% of y'all don't go to your parents and ask for the money, or you're very, very, very unsure and uncomfortable about asking your parents for the money. And when we speak and try and understand why you do it, most of you all tell us that, this is because, my parents don't understand what we're doing. They ask too many questions. The discussion becomes an argument. So, we are not comfortable doing it. But if you want the latest mobile phone, which costs 60,000 rupees, all of you all definitely ask your parents for that and you get it. So then we try to understand, saying, look, what you're willing to fight for assets, like, mobile phones and gaming devices and laptops and stuff, but for your own ideas, how come you're not willing to? So we didn't get a very clear answer from most of you. So we said, okay, let's teach you all crowdfunding. And the pitch to your parents next time is that, look, I need 1 lakh, just give me 10%, I'll raise the balance. Or I need 5 lakhs, just give me 10%, I'll raise the balance. And that's how we started this program, where we started teaching at schools and colleges and at corporates. So we actually teach in schools, colleges, corporates. And we work currently with about close to now 8,500 to 9,000 students across 75 schools directly, and with about 100 schools indirectly. So for example, Manat, Shriram schools, we worked with all your schools, with Maulsari, with Aravali, with the one in Noida. And the last, I think 12 months, we've raised close to 2 crores. The students in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. If you've just gone to the 9th, then obviously wouldn't have done it with you, because we usually work with 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So we are actually starting again with Aravali. Are you with Aravali or Maulsari?
I'm with Malsari.
Okay, so yeah, we do a lot of work with you all too. So we do a lot of work with most of the schools, over here, and do a lot of very, very interesting things. So Maulsari, we had a very interesting case where 2 of your students, they built something called a rain garden and raised almost about 6.5 lakhs for that, which was a very, very interesting project we did. So what we'll do today is we'll dive into this very interesting world of crowdfunding. We'll tell you why it's important to learn it as a science. And just to explain what I mean by a science and a life skill is, if you look at 8 out of 10 Indian women and girls and look at their first name in India, 80% of you all have names which end with A, E, I, O, U. So even if you look at most of you all on this call, whether it's an Aishani or a Navi or most of you all, you will see this A, E, I, O, U appearing in most cases. You will have exceptions like Meher, but 80% of you all have names ending with A, E, I, O, U. Now there's a science to it. Okay, it's not accidental. There's a proper science. So even if you look at Kamala Harris, yeah, the new vice president nominee, and if you look at her first name, ends with an A. And if you actually look at the origin of the name, it means lotus in which language? Any idea?
Hindi.
Hindi.
Sanskrit. So basically all our names come from Sanskrit. So if you take Kamal, masculine, add an A to it, Kamala, feminine. So typically when you add these sounds and vowels, that's how Sanskrit operates. So because of that origin, 80% of the names are like that. You will see the same thing in Russia. You'll see the same thing in the Middle East. You'll see the same thing in a lot of places. So once you understand the science of it, it's very easy to figure it out. So what I'm going to do quickly now is open a quick presentation I have. Let me know when you can see this. Just a minute. Are you able to see anything on my screen?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Oh, just a minute, let me just, yeah. So you can see this thing which says, what is crowdfunding?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't see it on mine. Perfect, okay. So we'll talk about, so crowdfunding, if you look at the word, is crowd and funding, okay? And what happened is about, I think a month back, we tied up with, Alumni Somnaya, and we are doing a lot of very, very interesting things with them, involving students and, partnerships we are doing and stuff like that. And we are partnering with them to do a lot of these interesting things. And we've had massive success, doing work with students. And, they bring a lot of interesting perspective in terms of helping students get an idea, to crowdfunding stage. So it's a good idea to partner with them and work with us and do stuff like that. So if you look at crowdfunding, if you look at the word crowd and funding, a large number of people funding what they believe in, you could fund a lot of interesting things. And what we essentially do is that we amplify innovation, we amplify social impact, and we actually get the crowd to help you. And the crowd, basically, when they help you, they also need to feel like they're making change. And that's what happens through us. And how do we do it? So you do it through marrying 4 things. So crowdfunding is about marrying storytelling, technology, social media, and consumer behavior. So if you look at crowdfunding like a dining table with 4 legs, even if one leg is weak, the whole table wobbles. And in this case, These four legs are storytelling, technology, social media, and consumer behavior. So you need to get all of them right. And we teach how you need to do this and how it works. Now, as a platform, right from electric bikes to building canals, to helping people reinvent Indian traditions, to helping midday meals, you can do all kinds of very, very interesting things on the platform. We've already raised more than 38 crores in the last 4 years. We are a team of 12. We are based out of Bangalore. So, we are there to support you. We are able to support you. We're able to do a lot of stuff. So if you look at this over here, we actually worked with a company called Godrej and helped them launch something called a bamboo bike in India. This is a very successful product, even though it's a small category. So they actually launched it through crowdfunding and not through dealers, so stuff like that. Now, these are the things you can crowdfund. You can crowdfund ideas. You can crowdfund charities. You can do recoveries like helping people during COVID. You can fund events. You can do all kinds of wonderful things. So what I'll do now is give you a little perspective on the diversity of what you can do so that it gets you thinking. So you learn at the end of the day saying, okay, I can make social impact. I can fund tech products. I can fund innovations. I can do my robotic stuff. I can do all those wonderful things. Help myself, help others, make the world a better place through something called crowdfunding. So this is an example of a product. Okay, now this is an electric bike made in Coimbatore. This person came to us and said, look, I've spent 3 years making this. If you notice, the bike says E100. What that means is on a single charge, it can go 100 kilometers. And he wanted to raise about 10, 15, 20 lakhs so that he sustains his business. And we helped him raise about 65 lakhs. His company is now worth 20 crores. He also got selected by the US consulate in Chennai because once we did the campaign, they called us saying, look, we've read about this. We want to select this person and send them on an all expense paid trip to the US to interact with people in the e-space, which is the electric space in the US. So he actually went, met everyone, including Elon Musk. So he's built his business wonderfully well. Now, this product looks pretty cool, but when it came to us, this is how it looked. This is what he came to us with. So if you look at this product and look at what we helped him. Now, one of the most interesting things is this little thing. This is the motor. I don't know if you can see it, this motor, and look at the size when he actually launched it. This is made in China. Now, I worked in China for 5 years and I told him it sucked in terms of the motor because the place he was buying it from in China was like a foreigner telling you that I'm buying a motor from Orissa, and Orissa is not known for motors. So we forced him to go to South Korea and get this. And the difference completely transformed his bike in terms of everything. So over here, you can even see the wheel size was different. Everything changed. So more than just raising funds, we also add a lot of value. Okay. And that is where with Alumnia Somnia, we're able to work together and do the due diligence, figure out what works, what doesn't work, and do all that kind of stuff. Okay. Again, a very interesting idea. Ex-IBM engineer came to us with a very interesting jacket. It has 29 features, but most important, it has about close to 18 pockets. Okay, he wanted to raise 5 lakhs. This campaign raised 18 lakhs, but totally he raised almost 36 lakhs on our platform. He now does about 3 crores of business every year. Now, the way products are crowdfunded is you have a prototype, you need to have it, otherwise it doesn't work. You tell your story, you don't have the money. So you tell people that, hey, pre-order my product and I'll give it to you after 1 month or 2 months or 3 months or maybe even 6 months. And people actually trust you and do that. And why do they do that? One, because of the platform. Second, because of the story and the due diligence we do. And they feel that, okay, this is a great idea, maybe the first of its kind, let me get the product. And that's how it works. Again, a very interesting product. This is a GPS and fitness tracker for dogs. Okay, this person wanted to raise 2 lakhs. He raised 8 lakhs. Immediately after the campaign was over, it was so successful that he got a call from a team in the US saying we have this massive show in Las Vegas for electronics and technology. We will invite you there, all expense paid trip, including a free stall, because we love this, because we see this as a global product. And they actually headed out there and stuff like that. So crowdfunding helps bring literally ideas to life, but it's not as easy as making it sound. There's a lot of detailing which goes into making it happen. Okay. Again, a very, very cool product. This is a smart wallet with a chip in it. It connects to my phone. So I actually use this. The first prototype is what I use, and it still works after 3 years. It's a beautiful leather wallet, very classy, as you can see. And the way it works is the chip connects to my phone. It syncs with my phone. If I misplace my wallet, I can call it with my phone. If I lose my wallet, I can track it on my phone. If my phone is misplaced and it's silent and somewhere at home or office, I can actually call it with my wallet. And I can use the phone camera and take pictures using my wallet. So it's a smartphone, a smart wallet. He again came to us saying, I want to raise 2 lakhs, ended up raising 23 lakhs. He now exports it to 30 countries. So these are again ideas. Now you can also do products which have social impact. So for example, this is a really cool product. This is a product which helps the visually impaired, the blind. There are 30 million of them in India. We have the largest population in the world. Now, 7 to 8 of them, 70%, 80%, when they go to a retail store, and if they do a transaction with money, and let us say they give 100 rupees to a shopkeeper, 7 out of 10 times they get cheated. The shopkeeper says, "Aapne 50 rupiya diya," when they've actually given 100 rupees. Okay. So there was this girl called Tiffany in Trivandrum. She bumped into this 50-year-old inventor in Bangalore and said, "Paul, his name is Paul D'Souza," saying, "Paul, look, we get cheated. Can you help us?" So Paul made this device. All you need to do is wrap a note around this, and depending on these notches, you measure the length and the breadth of a note. It's a very simple innovation, but one of a brilliant thing. And luckily in India, all our notes have a different length and breadth, including the new notes. So you just wrap it around this and you can find out from the length and breadth as to which note it is. Even I can do it now. And that's the device. But this device used to cost 10 rupees and he wanted to crowdfund it. And in 4 years, he made 40 of them. So we crowdfunded and raised money for we raised money for about 2 lakhs of these by reducing the cost from 10 rupees to 2 rupees. And we're actually planning to do a campaign again after about 6 months where we want to raise money for about 1 million of these devices and give it free to them. And once they have this, you just can't cheat them. So it's a really cool thing. And because the girl who came up with this request was named Tiffany, he called it the Tiffy template. So we branded it like that. I mean, you Google it, you'll find a lot of coverage in a lot of newspapers about this. Again, a very interesting idea of crowdfunding. This was impact in villages, in a drought-prone village in Maharashtra. And these people got in touch with us saying, look, every year, a lot of our fellow farmers commit suicide. We are a village of 700 farmers, and we need a canal. And we work with this NGO called Suryodaya, and the name of our village is Horti, Horti. And we want to build an 8-kilometer long canal. Now, 8-kilometer long canals, for me, as someone with 30 years of experience in the corporate world, is like a 1 crore deal. And they said, no, we'll make it for 5.5 lakhs. We'll collect 1 or 2 lakhs amongst ourselves, but we need about 3 lakhs from crowdfunding. Can you help us? And I asked them, I said, how long will you take to make it? They said 10 days. I said 10 days, which is why in the campaign we said 15 because we didn't believe it. And even 15 seemed, very impractical. And they said, so the labor is 700 farmers and families. The Suryodaya will get all the heavy machinery and we'll put it together. So we did the campaign, raised the money in, I think, about 7-8 days, gave them the money. They built the canal in about 8-9 days. Okay, that's all it took them to do. And that was really, really a big deal. Now, this is a very interesting story. And the reason I want to tell you this is just to show you how crowdfunding can be transformational. Because, as young people, the kind of things you do once you understand the power of a tool is incredible. Okay, because you have the time, you have the energy, you have the enthusiasm, you just need direction. And a lot of times this provides clarity of thought in terms of saying, wow, I didn't know I could do this earlier. So this is a very interesting story. At the end of the story, you're going to be really shocked with this. Seems like a very simple person, Chinta Kandi Mallesham. I'd never heard of him 4 years back. He came to us saying, sir, I have a problem. My mom used to weave a pallu on a particular sari with this weaving community. We are a weaving community of 1,000 people. And we are in a very small village in Telangana. And the way it works is that the pallu of the sari, you need to take this silk thread and wrap it around in a particular pattern 8,000 times on a device. And it is back-breaking literally because to do it 8,000 times for the mom, it used to be tiring. So I tried to do it after 40 weaves. I got tired. I mean, I just couldn't do it after 40 weaves. And by the way, I can stand on my head for 4 minutes. So I'm pretty strong, but I just couldn't do it. And I said, how did your mom do it? She said, well, that's what she used to do. And she used to only be in pain. And this encourages child labor because all the girls are forced to do this. So when I was in my 9th or 10th standard, I dropped out of school to make a device to automate this. And I tried for 3-4 years, and finally the village threw me out thinking I was a mad guy. So he moved to Hyderabad, tried to make it for another 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Look at the perseverance of this guy. And finally, when he was working in an auto shop, he figured out the mechanism and made a device. And his mom's name is Lakshmi. And the pattern is called ASU. So it's called the Lakshmi ASU pattern. So he did this and he started, it cost about 25,000, and he started selling this machine to the rich weavers. Now the poor weavers couldn't afford it. They said, look, we'll give you 5,000 bucks, but we can't afford more than that. So he tried to get support from the government. Some people did fund him, but he really wasn't able to do much. So he came to us to do a crowdfunding campaign saying, can I raise money to help these farmers automate their process so that the women and child working over there stop doing that, and the women can do more productive work, and the girls over there can go to school. So we said, okay. So we did the campaign, raised the money. But more important, we got him a nice front page article in the Times of India in Hyderabad, which said that the government has really not taken care of this guy. Now, the best part is he's a TED Talk speaker. He's received every possible award from Prime Minister Modi, the president, the finance minister, the chief minister. He's a Forbes rural innovator, everything, but no one supports him. Absolutely no one gives him money to help the farm or to help the weavers. So we got that article, and 3 weeks after the article, he won the Padma Shri. So this is the article, and he actually won it on 26th of Jan 2017. He actually won a Padma Shri. Okay, that's the highest civilian award anyone can get. And his life has completely changed after that, completely. Okay, and now he says any function I go to, I get 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 5 lakh checks to fund machines to give the weaving community. And now most of the weavers are actually able to get it. And then it became such a big story in Telangana that for all of you all who are addicted to Netflix, he's now a Netflix movie. So just just search for Malaysian on Netflix, and that's the movie of his story. So that's the kind of impact crowdfunding can have. It's not just transformed his life or the community's life. He now says that, look, a lot of people like me are willing to be entrepreneurs and do stuff like that because of the recognition that it gets, and that's what's important. So he'll call me once in 6 months saying, sir, I never thought I'll ever become a character in a movie. Imagine that, for a dropout who's done something as crazy as this. One last story, very interesting story. This is a story about Mark. Mark is from Bandra in Bombay. He's a dwarf. He's wearing a jacket with the Indian emblem. Okay, he plays for India. He plays the para games. He's a world-class badminton player. His dad is a fisherman. And this is what his career most probably was looking like. So he used to play amazing badminton at the para level. So this is who he is. He's 4 feet 2 inches. He's a dwarf. And the Bandra Gymkhana, which is a very fancy club in Bandra, actually was sweet enough to give him membership so that he can practice. And he came to us saying, sir, I can be a world-class player. I get invitations to all the best tournaments in the world. But because it's Paralympics, the government somehow doesn't do much for us. They don't care for us. So I need help and money to play and make India proud. And he did not have money. The first meeting I had with him, he did not have money to even take a bus and come. He actually walked about 2 kilometers to come for the meeting. That is how he was. And he stays in a fishing village. Very, very small house, which is about, I think, 200 square feet or something. I've been to that house. It's really small. So that was the background. So we did a campaign, raised a lot of money for him. We did 2 campaigns, raised a lot of money for him through that. And the best part is he got written about across media. Okay, so his name is, so he became the world number 3 because he started playing in those tournaments. And then life completely changed. One of the best gyms in Bandra where the membership goes up to as high as 3 lakhs a year. He got that for free for life. He got invited to speak at the TED. He got selected for the Indian team at Asiad. He got a job with the Maharashtra government now. So now he works, he has a vehicle, completely transformed. And the best part is he did a commercial for a leading tea brand. So it's a brilliant video which he's done for Brook Bond Red Label. So if you just Google Brook Bond Red Label unstereotype, that's Mark over here. He's the dad of this girl. Okay, it's a brilliant ad. So his life has completely changed, completely transformed and changed. So coming to how students are leveraging things, students are doing all kinds of things with us. This is just to give an example. So recently we did a campaign with students at a school in Bombay. Finally, they raised about 94 lakhs in this campaign. I want to specifically show you an example of how students think and work with us once they learn crowdfunding. So as I said, you can use crowdfunding for all your science projects. No two ways about it. The best way to do it is if you're a part of a robotics team and there are 6 of you all, and you're trying to do crowdfunding, work with us, work with Alumni Somnia, talk to them, we'll work together, we'll do wonderful campaigns together. And as I said, the campaigns will not just raise funds, but also create massive awareness, which lead to sponsorship opportunities and stuff. Do not use crowdfunding as the last resort. Use it as the first mode of funding. Yeah, someone had a question?
Yeah, I have a question, but isn't there a large amount of risk attached when people fund a product?
Good question. Very, very good question, which is why we do massive due diligence. So if you ask me, Ranga, which is the largest platform in the world for crowd products? The platforms are sitting in the US. You have platforms like Indiegogo, for example, which are large, or Kickstarter. Now, if you ask me, look, isn't there risk attached? Because out of every 100 product campaigns they do, only 35% see the light of the day. Only 35, 65 fail. In our case, we've not had a single failure till date. The reason is the due diligence we do. They don't care because they are tech platforms. Okay, we try to behave like a crowdfunding platform where we work with you. So for example, we had a person saying, Ranga, I want to fund an electric bike about 2 years back. And he said, I'm from this place in Ahmedabad. I want to make electric bikes. We have a factory. We have 4 of us. We are engineers. We are this. Here's a picture of a prototype. Brilliant. We said, okay, great. So that was the first meeting. So we said, okay, we'll have a follow-up meeting in a week. So in a week, we called him again. And, I said, look, where are you? And this was a WhatsApp call. Okay, and I said, where are you? He says, no, I'm at my factory. I said, great. I changed the WhatsApp call to video. Okay, and that was the plan. And I said, okay, show me your factory. He didn't have a factory. He was sitting in a room at home and he didn't have a factory. So what we do is we do a lot of due diligence. Okay, so we want a prototype. We want a working prototype. We want the prototype to be sent to us. We test it out. We do all those things. If you're trying to raise 40,000 rupees, we don't break our head. We do due diligence online. But if you're raising 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs or 1 crore, we do that. Okay, so we do all that due diligence. So I'm just trying to now explain. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we do a lot. Now I'm just showing you a case study of how students think with us once they understand what they can do. And this applies both to innovations, products, and to social impact. So this was a student who came to us from a school in Bombay called Bombay International School. 8th grader who understands crowdfunding. And she said, sir, I help out in Dharavi. There's a problem in these slums, especially during monsoons. The kids have a lot of issues and they don't even have decent raincoats. And they get these plasticky ones, which leak like hell. They fall sick. They don't last. They're really not great. And it's not the kind of thing they like to pass on. So as they grow, they will never give it to the kids because these tear off, So I want to get them very classy, durable raincoats which work. And I want to call it the Raincoat Project, and I want to give it out to 100 kids. And she came up with a prototype, which typically in a store will cost 2,000 rupees. If you go to Paris, you'll get the same one for 4,000 rupees. That's the quality of it. And she said, so I'll get it done for about 450 rupees, including distribution will be 500. So I said, how will you do it? She said, no, I'll manage that because my mom is one of the top designers in the country. And this is recycled material, which is very expensive and very high quality, but we'll manage it. I said, okay. And she wanted to raise 50,000 rupees. Each one cost 500 to help 100 kids. That was the perspective. And then we said, okay. We worked with her. We told her what to do, made a story and said, okay, why don't you talk to your friends in class and find out if they want to come on board? She said, okay. So finally, she got 12 of her classmates to come on board from grade 8. We trained them on how to do a campaign. Then she got another 10 of her friends in other schools across India to come on board. We trained them. We did a separate one. Then we introduced them to Rotary. They got into a partnership. So finally, we launched the campaign about 2 months back. And instead of raising 50,000, and this is a raincoat project, by the way. So it's a sustainable approach, very interesting raincoat made out of polytetrafluoroethylene. Okay, the design is unisex. It's got a hoodie. It's got pockets. It's got different sizes. A very, very classy thing. Okay, and they finally ended up raising 35 lakhs. Okay? And this is going to impact 7,000 kids. It's been talked about, written about, tweeted about in India, in Europe, everywhere. It's become that big. And next year they plan to make it a 1 crore campaign. and start doing it in across different cities. So each of them had their own campaign. This is the girl who started it all, Avantika Swally, and these are all her classmates. And there's a separate campaign where other friends of hers have also done it. And this is the kind of raincoats that they make. And this is an article in the newspaper. This is the actual pictures when they went and distributed it. Just pre-monsoon is when they distributed it. And it was still sunny and nice, and now it's obviously pouring. Okay, so massive impact. And now she's come back saying, sir, I want to start mobile libraries in Bombay. And now her dad and mom are also involved because they suddenly realize, while the girl is really smart and driven, I mean, she's still in the 8th. So now the dad and mom have got involved saying, look, Ranga, this kind of stuff is massive. We never knew that, you could transform lives like this. So now we want to actually make mobile libraries, which are very, very unique in Bombay. So we are actually looking at containers being transferred into permanent libraries, vehicles being transferred into very cool looking mobile libraries, and actually building up plans with that. And we are providing a lot of strategic insight. So when they said, how do we do it? We showed them containers, how it works. We have all that knowledge, because we have so many corporate guys here. We're able to add a lot of value. So we bring all that together. So similarly, there's a very interesting project now that, we're talking about, where we're talking about the plight of kids who don't have access to education and how we can give them, recycled laptops and refurbished laptops, and actually give them, laptops so that their education is not impacted severely. And that's a project that we're going to start very, very soon. And that obviously has massive impact for these kids. Because, sometimes I tell kids like you all, for us, while for a lot of the poor people, life is really about food. For us who are well-to-do, our life is different. To understand the pain and the trauma they are going through, the way to visualize it is, imagine if your electricity is cut off at homes. Not for 1 day, not for 2 days, but for 30 days. How will you live at home? Just imagine for 30 days if you don't have electricity. So no devices, no refrigerator, nothing. You got all the money in the world. Okay. But you can't even withdraw the money because your phones don't work. So it's almost like your lifeline is cut off, which is what's happening during COVID to a lot of these people. For them, their lifeline is income, and that's gone. And they are literally trying to survive. So it's the same thing. If electricity went off for us, we will be actually in survival mode, right? So for the rich, our lifeline is electricity. For the poor, it's literally money because we have all the money in the banks. Right? So these people need a lot of help. And, every day we realize interesting problems which are happening in the field. But the nice thing about COVID times is we are realizing that the well-to-do are really, really, really helping these people. And it's obviously very heartening to figure it out. The other advantage of doing all these campaigns is, so if you take Avantika and you just Google her name, this is the first thing which comes up. Okay. So this is her campaign, her article in the newspaper, the campaign, pictures of the campaign. And this is just a Google search. So even you can do it while, we're doing this session and just do Avantika Swally, and this is what you want to find. Okay. So how does this happen? We define crowdfunding strategy, we design the campaigns with you, we do the creatives, the platform is there, the technology is there, you have access to the gateways, pre-campaign, post-campaign, how to manage it, what not to do, how to do. We even teach you communication skills like how to make a phone call. 7 out of 10 of you all aren't great at making phone calls. We know that after doing 9,000 campaigns, we know that. We teach you how to make a simple thing as we teach you the art of communication. So when you communicate, you keep the other person in mind and you talk. That is how you make a passive listener become an active listener. But most of us talk from our perspective, right? So how do you do that? How do you do that? And these are life skills. You need to learn how to communicate going forward. It's not great and good enough that you can really make good WhatsApp messages or Instagram story posts are phenomenal. That's really not, unless you're going to become the biggest, social media, brand in the world or in the country. That's really not a livelihood that you're really going to look at. So we teach you all that stuff. We teach you interesting things like how to make audios and how to make videos. For social campaigns, for example, if you make a video or an audio, which one do you think is going to have more impact? Anyone? So if you want to make something viral for a social impact program, which you do, which will work better, video or audio? It's a reasonably obvious answer.
Video.
Video.
So the correct answer is audio.
Audio?
Yes. Okay. So we'll teach you and tell you how. Okay. And that's where I come from. And that's the learning. And the beauty is we do the same program, by the way, in corporates, but it's very difficult to teach corporate people. It's very easy to teach you all because once we tell you the logic, you pick it up in seconds. Corporate guys, because they come with 30 years, 20 years of experience, it takes them half an hour to resolve that in their head. Okay. So we teach crowdfunding as a science, and that's what matters. I just have two, three more slides. So the way it works on crowdfunding is people come, explore your campaigns, they decide to fund. If it's an idea, they fund out of passion. If it's a social impact thing, they fund out of compassion. This is one of the most important things in crowdfunding, your ability to get your existing funders to share your campaign. So we teach you how to reach out to your network, which is friends, family, dad's network, your network, and then teach you how to get them to share your campaign. Once this happens, that's when magic truly happens in crowdfunding because shares generate new funders and these people then slowly become your network because you can encourage them to fund. I mean, they obviously fund. And once you encourage them to share, then it becomes bigger. So for a social impact program with a goal of 20, 30, 40,000, the highest any student has raised on our platform is possibly 24 lakhs. Okay. So that's the kind of impact you can make. And this girl who raised 24 lakhs, I think 17 lakhs came through shares and 7 lakhs came from her funders. So you want to do a crowdfunding campaign, get in touch with me, get in touch with Alumni Somnia, tell us about what you want to do. We'll work with you, we'll make things happen. So even if you go to Fuel a Dream now, you'll see a lot of campaigns happening. Next week, for example, we start campaigns with Hill Springs, we start campaigns with Bombay Scottish, we start campaigns with Jamnabai. Shriram School, we just spoke to Aravli. We're going to start campaigns. I think you have exams or something coming up now. So I think September is when they've said they're going to start campaigns with us. Okay. So that is essentially what I have. Once. Okay. Fine. Any questions anyone has?
Yeah, hi. This is Meena here, and I had a question. Basically, we are kind of doing this thing for a laptop story, right? And lots of us are involved in that because we know that there is a huge divide between kids who have access to resources and kids who do not have access to resources, and that's somehow kind of increasingly making it's become apparent that if we don't take us with them, the divide is only going to increase, right?
Right.
My question to you is essentially that how do we kind of we have this whole group here, and we were looking at going ahead with crowd. How do you propose?
So what we can do, Meenal, is we can create a. We obviously need to still get that Rotary tie-up done, but once we have that done, we can create an online link which you can share with students where they go and register and show interest in taking part in the campaign.
No, my question: how do they, like, since you said it's about telling a story, it's about all the things that you said. So how do you make that? I'm saying
so that's what I'm trying to explain. So what we do normally is we first put out a simple teaser creative which you can send out to them, telling them the essence of what the impact story is and what the campaign is about, and telling them that if you want to, you can take part in it and you will get trained by Fuel a Dream in terms of how to manage your campaign. Okay. So once you send that communication out, students go to a link and register, and let us say 20 or 30 or 40 of them register because we give them a cutoff date. We then do an online training webinar with 30 or 40 of them, which is about for an hour, and explain how they need to manage their campaigns. 2 hours after the training program, we launch all their campaigns. The campaigns are for 10 to 14 days, and that's how campaigns are done.
Okay.
So that's how we do. Like, for example, coming Tuesday, I have a session with about 200 students of a school. And the first session is going to be the session I took you through now, where we explain crowdfunding to them. And at the end of the session, just like you're talking about the laptop story, we're going to talk to them about an initiative and say, okay, here's the registration link. That's on Tuesday. Friday, approximately 150 of them will sign up. I can tell you that right now because we know how that school behaves. So 150 will sign up, and each of them they will finally raise about 50,000 each on an average, and just give an approximate. So that's 75 lakhs. So that's how the whole thing is structured, right? And we need to have these two sections.
That's what. So I was more interested in a project that our kids have taken to, which is a laptop story.
Correct.
And it's an initiative with everybody over here. So if I were to kind of put steps and how, like, if you were to take it to the next step with the students, what would you be doing? Like, if you could just show a teaser of what you would do now, like what would you do?
No, so essentially what we will do in the next step, once they show interest, is we will have a 1-hour webinar where we teach them literally the science of crowdfunding in terms of how the stories will look, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, what's the first thing they do. So I'll give you an example. Let us say you have your campaigns live. How many of you all over here have, by the way, done crowdfunding? I'm sure there would be at least 7, 8, 9 of you all, 10 of you all who've done some kind of crowdfunding. Any of you all who've done crowdfunding? Yes, yes, okay, 2, 3, okay, fine. So about 3, 4 of you all, great. Now, what's the first thing you do once your campaigns are live? How do you tell the world about your campaigns? Since the people who've done campaigns, how have you told the world about your campaigns? What have you done? How have you spread the message, or how have you spread the link across? What's the first thing that most of you all did? Can you all just put on your audios and tell me, please?
Write a story or maybe make a video and then share it with people you know.
Correct. So you made a video and shared it across what, WhatsApp or Instagram, or how did you do it?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Okay. So most of you all would have shared your link or the story across WhatsApp, right? Okay. So 9 out of 10 do that. You make videos or you share your link across WhatsApp. Now that's exactly what you should not be doing. Okay. So welcome to crowdfunding. Okay. And typically when you do that, and let's say you raise 30,000, if you did not do it, but learned crowdfunding from us, you probably would raise 5 times that. Not one time, not 20% more, not 30% more, 5 times that. Okay, that's how impactful it is. So the most powerful tool for crowdfunding, by the way, is not WhatsApp initially. So typically you use social media like WhatsApp groups and Facebook shares and stuff after you get past 60, 70% of your goal. Before that, the most important tool is telephone calls. Okay, so there's a science to how you go about doing it, what you do first, what you do second, what you do third. Like for example, as students, do not tell your friends about the campaigns for the first 4 days. Do not. Okay? And there's a science and a logic to that. So we teach you all that stuff. So it's a very detailed program which gets into minute details of explaining how to do, how not to do. Like 60% of the shares that you do are forwards. You forward the message to different people. Now forwards, reduce funding by 50% because what is important is copy and paste, not forwards. Simple thing, but once we tell you, you say, yeah, I get it. Okay. Now when your parents share it, 95% of parents forward it. It should be a copy and paste again and a customized message. So we teach you all that stuff. So it's a very, very detailed program that we take you through.
Which is an hour-long program, you're saying?
It's an hour. Because they would have a lot of questions.
Yeah, because basically even now I see a lot of students have questions, so I want them to their questions to be asked. So guys, if you have questions, please raise, and I will then ask my questions later.
Sure.
I had seen Yash raise his hand.
No, I think that was to say that they have done crowdfunding. Some of them did that for that. Anyone has any questions?
So you say it's fundraising is a science. So again, I wanted to just understand, like, why do you say it's a science? What is it a science? I mean, like how do you explain that part?
So I'll take an hour to explain it. So we'll leave it for next time. So that's what I'm trying to say. What I mean by a science is very, very simple. There is a lot of consumer behavior involved. Like I said, there is a lot of elements that you need to be aware of. Once you are aware of it, then it's very, very easy to do it. Okay, but you need to learn it, and that is why we say it's a science. Unless you're taught and you understand what to do, you'll keep making mistakes. See, we've learned it over 9,000 campaigns. So it's impossible for someone to start with a perfect campaign because you just go with your gut saying this is how I possibly think I could do it. So we have a lot of students, by the way, who've done campaigns on other platforms and come to us saying, sir, I raised 1 lakh. And they come and do it with us and they say, so now I raised 5 lakhs. Now I've realized the difference. I shouldn't have done it the way I did. So that's typically how it is.
Cool. Any more questions?
question.
Yeah, sure, Manath.
Okay, so when will the session actually be?
So that's a good question. What we can do, Manath, is maybe give us a day to work it out between us, Meenal, and Alumni Somni. And let's turn it around, get some creatives in place, run it past y'all. Once y'all sign up, we'll decide on a date. We could, close everything on Monday in terms of communicating everything to you. And if y'all can register online at the link on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we could possibly do it on Thursday itself if you want to. And that's what we can do. I'm just suggesting dates and timelines. But give us a day or two. Today is Saturday, so my team is anyway not working. But maybe by Monday we'll have clarity and we'll be able to tell you that.
If I have enough interest, we can do it next weekend, is what I would think. But maybe let me come back to you because I do not know how these kids are placed during weekdays in terms of their schedules.
No, so typically we do campaigns in the evening because we do it with, every month we do at least 1,000 students. So typically they are free around 7 o'clock, 7 to 8. Those are the slots which work for them. So we can do that. Not a problem. And I mean, you'll never get all of them on board because someone will have something or the other happening at one point of time.
That's my experience as well.
Yeah. So that's.
I'd like to add something.
Sure.
Primarily from the perspective of alumni insomnia. Obviously, when Miss Meenal came to me with a laptop story, and she told me that her daughter, who's a sophomore at Stanford, had started this. Obviously, I was blown away because the projects I was used to receiving as the founder of Alumni Insomnia were more product-related projects. So just a brief on the process of Alumni Insomnia, we accept the projects which they have to be student-led. We help you speak to professionals and consultants who will then make your product into something that is easily marketable. And then we work with Mr. Ranganath to help you raise as much funds as possible in order to make your project, your service, and your startup venture into success. And we have had success in the past, and I'm sure we'll have more success in the future.
So we're doing a pilot right now with Laptop Story and seeing how it works, and then we can kind of,
yeah, sure. Kyra, you had a question? Okay. Fine.
Great. I think that's good. Any other? Is there someone else's hand raised? Who is it? Vayun, you have a question?
Anavi?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yeah, sure. Anavi.
So when someone, like an individual or someone wants to start a campaign, do you need to have a set plan in place? For example, the girl you talked about with the raincoat who had already figured it out with her mother, or can you just approach with just an idea?
Yeah. So I'll give an example. So where are you from? Which school?
Dhirubhai.
Dhirubhai. Okay. So let us say, let's start with, let's say, a social impact idea. I'm just giving a social impact idea. So let's say if you came to us with a idea saying, look, I want to give handheld devices or laptops to kids, who I think are having a problem. Or you come to us saying, sir, we were talking with my parents and we realized there are these dabbawalas in Bombay. We suddenly realized because of COVID, I don't think they have any work for the last 5 months. So is there any way to help them? So let's say you come up with an idea like that. Or you come up with an idea saying, look, I want to help animals, in Bombay. Okay. So there are two kinds of ideas. One, an idea which is not germinated yet, which is just a thought at your end. Or there's another idea where you worked everything out and you say, look, I want to crowdfund for this. Either case, you can run it past us. And, we might say, look, we have partners who need help with something like this. And we'll put you onto a partner and you can work with them, finalize things with them. Or we say, we already have a partner who's doing something like this. You can be a part of that. And then we create a campaign for you where you're supporting that partner. And then we train you and we teach you and then you run your campaign.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time. I think we're done for the day. Are there any more questions? Great.
Meena Gandhi, I think there's a question in the chat.
Please tell me, Arna, what is it? I can't.
As a student, how do we get from the initial idea or prototype to making our idea credible enough for crowdfunding to be possible?
Great. Very good question. So I'll tell you how it works for prototypes. If you have a prototype, which is a working prototype, then you're already, I would say, 80% down the road to success. Okay, if you have a working prototype which works. The problem is if you don't have a working prototype and it's on the drawing board, then it's a problem. But if you have a working prototype, absolutely no problem. get in touch with Alumni Somnia. What we will do between them and us, we will help work on the prototype and figure out whether it's perfect, imperfect, works, doesn't work. And then together we will work with you to build. So what happens is from prototypes, let's say you have a working prototype and you want to launch your campaign. Okay. It's not a 1 week journey. It might take 4 weeks or 5 weeks to get from a working prototype to actually launching the campaign, because there are so many elements which go into it. I'll give you one classic example. So take this electric bike. When we went and met him, we said, great. We looked at the working prototype and we realized that they needed a lot of design changes, both aesthetics and otherwise. That took him 2 months to do. Then I asked him a very simple, innocuous question, which normally I wouldn't even bother to. I said, by the way, when you're shipping it across the country, what is your cost of shipping? He said 10,000 rupees per bike. I said, what? 10,000 rupees for a product which costs 40,000? He said, yeah, because we pack it like this, we put it in wooden crates, we put it into a truck, we do this, we do this, we do this. I said, hang on. That is not how you ship a bike when you're doing small volumes. He said, how do I do it? I said, you do it by Indian Post. So he said, what? I said, yeah, Indian Post. If you want to ship a bike, all you need to do is give it to Indian Post and they will ship it to you for 900 rupees or 1000 rupees. That's it. So his 10,000 came down to 1000 rupees. So suddenly his business changed because he said, hey, Ranga, I don't need to price it at 40. So finally he crowdfunded it at 29,900. So where I'm coming from is that value add is also important before we even start crowdfunding, right? So that's where, we will help you a lot and handhold you. So what happens is we don't even, by the way, charge anything for this. So if your campaign doesn't work, bad luck for us, bad luck for you. So we make sure that because we need you to succeed and whatever fees we charge are only related to success, we have to make sure we get everything right with you. So we do the due diligence, we do the planning, we do the, the entire science of, how to manage it. Yes, Manat?
How much percent of a successfully funded project do you take?
No, so whatever amount you raise, we take 6% of that for product campaigns.
Okay.
And by the way, our cost of raising money is 10%. So the 4% is funded by yours truly. For the last 4 years, I've funded about 5 crores. Yeah. Any other questions?
Great. So I think thank you for a great session, Ranga. It was really nice to know more about Fuel a Dream. And we look forward to you basically taking our campaign, a laptop story ahead. We will, as I said, use that as a pilot to take. And we have too many of these students, who raise funds and all that. So let's work at this and tell us how the timelines for that going forward,
Sure.
and then we can make it happen. So Rotary, the approval has come. I have shared everything with Ishan. So I saw lying on your table only. So you just let me know how to close it, and then we can close this and take it forward.
Done. Could we have a 2-minute call after this between you and Ishan and me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just do that. Okay. So students, thank you so much for your time. I hope you learned a little, if not a lot, and look forward to interacting with you all going forward. And anything you need, please give us a shout. We're always here to help. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ranganath. Also, if you guys are interested in learning more about Alumni Somnia, you can find out more at www.alumnisomnia.in, and you can learn more about Fuel a Dream at www.fueladream.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, so should we end this session now?
You can just be here, I think, while everybody leaves so that we can close it now.
We'll just have a quick call. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, sir. Bye, miss.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
See.
Miss, I think there's still 4 more people on the call. Miss, you're on mute.